Greetings everyone, the Water Magister here with a new episode. This is going to be on the element of spirit, and if you're just now tuning into my channel, I've separated the videos into different elements, and spirit, I'm going to be utilizing it to go over the Solomonic spirits, shadow work, and integration. And for today's episode, we're actually going to be going over a particular exercise for shadow work. So why do we do shadow work? I mean, in the spiritual community, I've noticed that people like to surround themselves and feel like they have to protect themselves from negative beings or people who drain them or people who they just don't vibe with. And there's this whole saying that they want good vibes only. And I find that kind of funny, because if you surround yourself with good vibe only people, where's the growth in that? Where's the uncomfortability that you're going to grow from it? I find growth from uncomfortable situations, from uncomfortable moments where you get to set your boundaries, you get to speak how you feel, what comes up, rather than being in a way, no, this person is toxic to me. And no one's toxic to you. If you're the one that creates your reality, how can anyone ever be toxic to you? They're always in service to you to bring up certain emotions that you're neglecting, that you're not seeing, that you're not facing. And that's what shadow work is about. Shadow work is taking an experience, whether it include another person or an animal or whatever it is, dissecting it and seeing, okay, what do I feel about this situation? What emotion is coming up within me that I get to address, that I get to give attention to? So it's not that these people are toxic. These people are in service to you to bring up an emotional state for you to address it and then give love to, accept it, and let go of. And I just wanted to share with you a particular shadow work exercise that I've learned. I forgot what her name was, but it was then retaught to me by one of my mentors as well. And this is a shadow work exercise. So to do so, what we're going to do is I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen, okay? And on that piece of paper, you're going to write 3 columns and separate them with a line. So you have 3 columns, okay? On the first column, write mom. On the next column, dad. And then on the next column over, pick someone who's close to you, whether it be a lover or a friend, and just write their name there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to write down certain aspects of these people. And before we get into it, I want to explore a little bit further, or elaborate a little bit further. Everything that we will ever judge with anyone outside of us, it's a direct reflection of things that we get to address within ourselves. So for example, if someone's in my space and is not respecting my time, is not respecting my space, I get to see that from the observational standpoint and say to myself, okay, in what portion of my life am I not respecting myself? Am I not putting boundaries on? Or am I not valuing? And then I dive into the emotion of what emotion is bringing up in me. And it brings up annoyance. Annoyance is an offshoot of anger. So there's an aspect of myself that's angry. And I had to create the experience of that person to not respect my time, to not respect my boundaries. So that's how you would do a shadow work exercise. That's what we're going to be doing here. Okay, we're figuring out what the judgment is, figuring out within ourselves where do we get to resolve that, and then assigning an emotion of how you feel about that experience, so that you can address the emotion in a mirror work exercise. So what we're going to do is very simple. These 3 columns, these 3 people, and when you write what I'm about to say down, don't judge it, don't say well, I don't want to write anything negative about these people because they're your parents and they're your significant other or your lover, but there's going to be something about anyone in your space that brings up a certain emotion. And it could be a perceived negative emotion. So in this instance, we're going to uncover some things, okay? So for your mom, write down 3 things that you dislike about your mom. Things that you have experienced while you were being raised, maybe even up until now. And then 3 things about your dad and 3 things about the lover or your friend. I'm going to give you an example for dad. So for me, when I first did this exercise, I put my dad was very physically abusive and emotionally abusive. He was very manipulative, and I put that he was a womanizer. So with that, I uncovered things that I disliked about him, and then I started analyzing afterwards. And I would say, okay, what part of myself did I embody those 3 qualities? At what point in my life did I embody those 3 points? Or at what point did I heal those things? Have I healed those things? Am I okay with those things now? A little bit more example, a little bit more elaboration. In my younger years, I was a womanizer. I would read books on how to pick up women, because that was where my attention was. I was pretty manipulative as well, and I got enjoyment out of it because of a past experience, but then I've grown from it. I was never physically abusive because I told myself I would never do that, but I can see instances of myself where I was emotionally abusive and projecting my own emotions and my own insecurities onto experiences. So as you begin to write this, and you may want to pause the video right now so that you can continue writing, you don't have to listen to me talk as you're writing these things down. So if you've unpaused the video, what you're going to find, and what I've learned, is if we create our reality, we have chosen which parents to come through. Why would we do that? There are certain qualities of your parental figures that you want to embody. For whatever reason, I wanted to experience physical abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse, not through my parents per se, but through my family, so that I could learn and so that I can figure out a way to assist people who are going through it. So I chose those particular archetypes or those particular family members to be part of their space. What I'm saying is, the things that your parents don't heal at the moment of conception, so whether it be insecurity, anger issues, addictions, you as a soul have contracted now to come through these people so that you can heal those aspects for the bloodline, for the people previous to you that are within that race. So like, I'm half Colombian, half Irish. So I've chosen to heal certain aspects of that bloodline by coming through these 2 parents. And when I heal it, I'm now creating a space so that when other people are in my space, they have the ability and the capability of now healing it within themselves, when normally they did not have the space to do so because they weren't aware of how to do it. But because I've done it now for certain aspects, I'm downloading the information that I've received into the hive mind, into the collective consciousness. And I see the collective consciousness as like a hive. The reason why I say hive mind is if you ever research the 100th monkey rule, where once 100 monkeys receive a certain idea or practice or tool, all the other monkeys begin to embody that same thing as if they were taught it when they were in a completely different region of the world. So by you uncovering aspects of yourself and by you healing aspects of yourself, you are uploading that information to the hive mind, to the collective consciousness, so that it then gets rippled out, and then they can pull through that information so that they can figure out how to heal themselves. So that's why that phrase that you are the change that you've been looking for, it's totally true. And I see my kitty cat just smelling things. It's totally true, because by you healing, you're setting it up, and then it ripples out. So that's the way that I see it. So going back to this shadow work exercise, after you've written down all the 3 negative qualities that you've perceived, go through each one in your mind and see at what point in your life you've embodied that. Maybe you still do, and if you still do, there may be certain points of your mind are like, I don't do that. I don't do that. Why would I do that? Like, really take a moment and be honest with yourself. Do you exhibit those same tendencies? And then the other thing for that is, if you do exhibit those tendencies, you may notice that you are attracting partners that are the opposite of those tendencies, because you want to mimic those things. You want to figure out how to be the opposite of that. So this is a lot of reflection work. That's what shadow work is about, is uncovering things that we typically don't want to see, or we don't want to feel, because it's like, ugh, it's just too much for me, you know? And that's why you put a bliss bubble around you, and you're all rainbows and butterflies and gumdrops and unicorns, which is complete nonsense, in my opinion. If you practice true spirituality, you are going to go both light and dark. It's not one or the other, it's both. The more you explore darkness, the more you can explore light. The more you explore light, the more you can explore darkness, because it just goes back and forth. Okay? So now that you've kind of gone through each of these aspects and seen where in your life you've exhibited those things, or if you have healed those things, now go through each of those aspects again and ask yourself, let's put it like another line below all those things, and go through each one and figure out what emotion gets brought up when someone does those things, or when your mom, dad, or your significant other or friend does those things. So is it anger that you feel? Is it resentment that you feel? Is it insecurity that you feel? Is it like, what emotion can you bring it to? So once you've written all the emotions down for all 9 of those things that you have, see if there's a commonality between those emotions. Maybe you exhibit anger more so than sadness. And whatever the emotion is that is the more dominant one, that's the one that you get to give love to. That's the one that you get to give awareness to, because you're uncovering your shadow. You're uncovering aspects of yourself. So how do you do that? Mirror work. Look in a mirror after you've done this exercise. Dedicate 10 minutes of your time, set a timer, and just look into the mirror and look into your eyes, okay? And the version that you're looking at is that emotional aspect of you in the physical embodiment. So for example, if anger was a commonality between all those 9 things that I've written, and anger was the majority of it, I would look in the mirror and I would start talking to myself, David, I see you angry, David. I apologize that I haven't been paying attention to you. I love you. Thank you for bringing up these emotions so that I can actually address it and I could see. So you start giving love. Like, how would you talk to a child that is crying? What would you say to it? You're doing something similar to these emotions, because your emotions are these child versions of yourself that feel neglected. So they have to create an experience for you to pay attention to the emotion. Okay? So do mirror work so that you can address these one by one. So that's just one exercise. Well, actually I just gave you 2 exercises in this. So that's 2 exercises in this. And I hope that you took something home with you today. And what you may notice is, after you heal those things, you can do this exercise again, maybe a month from now, a year from now, however long it takes you to heal those things. And you'll have a new set of list of things that you get to dive into. You have a new set of list of more shadow work to go into, shadow integration, and loving that aspect of yourself. So I hope that this video has been knowledgeable and sharing with you. That's pretty much it. Oh, I am starting this new program. If you haven't heard about it, it's my apprenticeship program where we dive into the 5 elements. So earth, wind, water, fire, and then there's different exercises that correlate to those elements. And the goal of it is to train ourselves to dedicate time to each element, whether it's meditation, body movement, sounds, focusing on our breath, different things, to create habits so that we can be in a constant state of awareness. So like one of them is a posture. So keeping my posture straight up, right? So if you're interested in getting daily reminders and making it fun as a phone app so that you can hold yourself accountable and then get a reward system out of it, contact me or go to the link below and I will send you the information, or if you have more questions, feel free to reach out. Again, this is just one of the many exercises of shadow work to dive into. And as my YouTube channel continues to flow through, I will be sharing all the other tools that I have. And I'm just sharing this because I want everyone to have access to this, whether it is if you can afford the work or afford the sessions. Everything is on my YouTube channel. So all the things that I do. But if you want a private session, you can also go to my website down below, and I will do a private session with you and diving into shadow aspects or shadow emotions to assist you to move forward. So I want to thank each of you for taking the time for doing this particular exercise, because it's not an easy exercise of uncovering versions of ourselves that we kind of don't want to see. So really acknowledge yourself in this moment for taking the time out of your day for this. So thank you so much. I love you. Namaste.